Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 4 of our F1 2021 Williams Road to Glory. Yesterday we're here ready for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and like I said, at the start of this series, this one probably not going to quite be daily upload, so apologies that I haven't been around over the last couple of days for those of you that do love the Williams RTG. Like I said, I'm going to aim to try and keep it sort of like 4 episodes a week if possible, but of course my team is still the big priority on the channel at the moment. But obviously after we left the Monaco Grand Prix last time around, if you missed that video, go check it out. Yeah, by far and away our best result so far of the year. As we head in towards Baku though, we need to try and get more upgrades on the car if possible here. We've got 1,600 R&D points. We can't do anything on the chassis side of things. We should be able to do something though. Redesigned brake ducts should give us a big boost. That'll be ready for the French Grand Prix, obviously, if everything does go okay. And then we can also afford a crankshaft upgrade as well, though. That should be done in time for Canada. So getting more and more upgrades on the car. We should have a few more coming in as well, ready for this weekend. So hopefully those are going to both come on, and of course not. The central under tray. Why are all our upgrades failing here on F1 2021, and I can't even afford to do it just yet as well. So I'll have to wait for a few more R&D points to come in, hopefully on the 31st, we should be able to do it now. Let's just double check. We have got the engine cover as well, hopefully that upgrade will actually go on. There we go. That is pretty much all our R&D points gone once again though here. Come on, get one upgrade. I am so unlucky with the upgrades so far on this game. I don't know what it is. How much is that one then as well? That was on the chassis side of things as well, of course. I don't know. Does it tell me anywhere how much it is? 522, so we're going to have to wait until after this weekend to go with that one. So more failed upgrades on the car means we are still currently last on the progression chart there. You can see Haas have jumped us after last weekend there. So yeah, we need to try and start getting these upgrades on properly. We need to be looking at more quality control upgrades as well, or at least getting the team to be sorting those out as well, of course, behind the scenes. But let's head then into the Azerbaijan Grand Prix qualifying. Here we are then, qualifying day for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Fingers crossed we can try and get a good lap in around this circuit. Of course, the Mercedes power unit in the back of the Williams should give us a bit of a helping hand against the likes of Alfa Romeo and Haas especially here. But a slightly weaker car on paper, it's certainly going to be another tough weekend. I feel like just like the My Team series, we just need to try and get these upgrades on. Try to put a bit more investment in the quality control as well so we can get these upgrades on the car earlier and earlier into the year. But it takes time. We've gone through hard times before doing these career modes. I'm sure we'll get this thing to the top sooner rather than later as well. But yeah, heading around though for our first lap in qualifying. Do love doing a qualifying lap around Baku as well. It's so satisfying when you do get the lap hooked up there. Really just got to open up every corner as best as possible. Don't want to nudge the wall like that though all too often. In through turn 8 for the first time. Are we going to keep it clean? Yes. Luckily, yeah, turn 8 isn't too big of an issue on the F1 games as well, of course. But so far, this lap's been pretty tidy, pretty well hooked up, if I do say so myself. Raikkonen sets the 38.6, so he might be a decent benchmark. Heading out through the final couple of corners, though, Verstappen down to the 37.4, so it's a pretty good lap from the Red Bull. Tip it through the final chicane there, try and scrub as little speed off as possible. We didn't get the best line in the world, and then shortest run just down to the line. Let's see at what time it is going to be. Get as close to that pit lane entry line as you can. It's going to be a 39.6. So half a second off our teammate, but there's definitely a lot more to find. Right, let's go again then here for qualifying here at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Let's see if we can try and get a bit of a tidier lap then. We were losing a couple of tenths through Sector 1, a couple of tenths through Sector 2, and then we were pretty much even with our teammate through Sector 3. So there's definitely a little bit more time on the board. Just kick out the back end ever so slightly through turn 1. Try and avoid nudging the curves too much through this first sector. Really easy to do, and it does cost you a lot of time there, as you can see instantly. 2 tenths discovered as we head down the back straightaway.
1 lap of fuel remaining.
Slamming the anchors just at the 100 ball. The car will grip up just at the very last moment, and there we go. That's That's caught the second found in Sector 1. Checked it a bit too deep in through Turn 4. We got away with it still. Oh, that's close. You can see now we're about 3/10 up as we head in towards the middle sector. Take a lot of curb through there. Oh, avoid scrubbing out too much though on the exit. We head through Turn 8. That was close. We're getting really, really close now to the limit. And we're throwing away time because of it. We're just over pushing the car a bit too much at this stage of the lap. If we can find another couple of tenths through the final sector, that'll be okay. We know there's definitely a little bit more time on the lap in the final run there, but that was a horrible run as well down the hill. So that's really come away from us in the second half of it. Oh, big kick of wheel spin as well, and look at that, we're pretty much even as we head out through the final couple of corners here. We'll try and get a nice tidy run through the final chicane. That's going to give us a little bit as we head up towards the start-finish line, but it's nowhere near going to be enough. We've got to find a bit more time in the car in that final run. The pace is there. It's just getting it all hooked up in one run. 26 thousandths of a second improvement. It makes no difference at all, rather unsurprisingly. Last chance then to try and get a good lap hooked up here in the first qualifying, the only qualifying session of the weekend. I want to be at least close to our teammate George Russell on this last lap. We know there's a lot of time in the car. We know we can find a bit more as well. That was a bit of a better run through Turn 1, I think, but still no time found. We can match our Sector 1 time though, that'll be pretty good. That was nice. Just finding that little extra bit. Shortest run down the back straight. That was good. Avoid the wheel spin on the exit. Really concentrating now. That was close. Oh, 6/10 up. Oh, this is so far so good. Come on, don't make any mistakes through the final half of the lap. Come on. That was good as well. 7/10 up. Come on, this could be a nice improvement here. Don't mess up the final corner. Oh, we've messed up the final corner. That's going to cost us a little bit, but we're still only 8/10 up as we head through the final chicane. Nice tidy run. Don't do anything stupid. 7/10 up as we head towards the line. We're going to be around Mick Schumacher at the end of qualifying here. Valtteri Bottas is a 36.6. Are we going to be able to beat Schumacher on Mazepin? It's going to be very, very close. I think we have. I think we've just about done it in the end there. That lap, we needed that lap, and we've hooked it up. I think we've ended up P16 there at the end of qualifying. Yes, we have. So by far and away, our best qualifying session of the year so far there. And yeah, just ahead of Nikita Mazepin there. 6/1000ths of a second between the pair of us. George, unfortunately, down in last place, less than 2/10 behind me. So it goes to show just how close it is between us, Haas, and Giovinazzi there. Raikkonen seems to be able to drag absolutely everything out of that Alfa Romeo at the moment at this stage of the year there. But looking towards the top of the order, I'm sure Verstappen a bit gutted down in P7. Perez the same in 6th place there. But it is Bottas on pole by half a second over Daniel Ricciardo there. The Brits of Hamilton and Norris make up row 2. Charles Leclerc in P5 as well. Let's dive in then here to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box. And it's fantastic to have you with us here today, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, How do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the rundown into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course, you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and P2 goes to Daniel Ricciardo, a strong showing from the Australian. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Norris, Charles Leclerc and Perez, Verstappen, Sainz, Gasly and Sebastian Vettel, Stroll, Tsunoda, Kimi Raikkonen and Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Mr. Monaco, Nikita Mazepin and Mick Schumacher, Giovinazzi and George Russell ends our grid lineup. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Oh, here we are then, ready on the grid for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, round 4 of the year here. And it's looking like a rather overcast Grand Prix this weekend. There, in terms of fuel, we're normally running 0.1, 0.2 laps over at the moment, just in case we don't get a safety car. Haven't had too many safety cars on F1 2021 so far, except for the My Team race we did here, where we got 2 and a VSC. So I'm expecting some carnage over the course of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix here today. But George Russell obviously scored points in the My Team race. Maybe we can do the same here as well. Waiting on those 5 red lights. And, oh, no time at all there. It's lights out and away we go. Ocon, as surprised by that as I was, as we head down towards turn 1. Alonso going for a big old send through the first corner there as we try not to run to the back of Lance Stroll. We might just have picked up the one place of Ocon there, as Stroll very, very early on the brakes on his hards. Is Raikkonen going to give us any room? Just about on the exit of the corner there. But we're up 2 places then off the start of this Grand Prix, and I've said it so many times before on F1 2021, but DRS around here, absolutely critical. Stroll going to come back at us in towards the next corner there. Wallops the inside curb, so you have to give him a little bit more room than I wanted to, but we do hold on around the outside of the Canadian there. So a good start to this Grand Prix, up 2 places. Can't complain all too much about that early on in this Grand Prix, as we've just now got to try and settle down into a rhythm here through the rest of the opening lap. Are we going to see any carnage through the castle section? It seems like everyone being pretty sensible so far. Up the road, just a little bit of understeer through the corner before. That outside wall is so easy just to hit as well. They're all Raikkonen gets a bit close. I almost follow him in towards the castle section there, but we have survived the opening half lap here at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and that is better than normally the F2 drivers can say. Right, heading around the final couple of corners of lap 1 there, you can already see the advantage Lance Stroll's got on us in the top end there. The Aston Martin, obviously same power unit as ourselves, but a much better aero system than the Williams still at the moment, and he's going to have a look back past us down in towards turn 1. Nothing we can do even on the brakes as well there with Lance Stroll on the inside.
Okay, focus. We need to stay on form.
He's absolutely right. We need to try and stick with him. Hopefully Lance can drag us up towards the likes of Raikkonen. Come to the end of lap 2 though, sticking nicely to the back of Lance Stroll. I think we're both dropping away though from the cars in front there, as Bottas new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. When we get some DRS, might be able to have a look back past the Canadian, but we have got the Frenchman of Ocon still hanging on behind. And now with the DRS, having a look to the outside of Stroll. Don't really want to go for anything here, I'll be honest. Oh, Stroll there just a little bit second guessing himself on the exit. Really need to work together early on, myself and the Canadian. Maybe with the likes of Ocon behind. Try and break away from the rest of the back markers. Right, let's see now what the momentum's like on Lance Stroll. The gap between him in front and Ocon behind, pretty much even. As we come towards the end of lap 3, we won't use too much of our battery at the moment. Still trying to just save that for later on in the Grand Prix. But we are closing in on the Canadian again, so definitely feel like we can hang with him early on. Obviously, Stroll really trying to go deep into this Grand Prix on those hards. Didn't quite work for him in the real Grand Prix, but maybe on the game it'll go his way.
Some information on Schumacher. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Also troubles for Schumacher then early on in this Grand Prix. Oh, what I'm sure the young German wants in this race. He probably now is going to drop back, but with a bit of luck, it's going to allow Ocon, Stroll and I to break out the DRS and pull away from those guys. Can we get a run, though, on that Stroll as we head through the final couple of corners? This time around, I'm going to use a little bit more battery. Just sort of test the waters a bit. See what the Canadians got in that Aston Martin. We are gaining a little bit more again. Once we activate the DRS. And Stroll. Oh, we've actually got a couple of guys in the pits there. Verstappen into the pits very, very early in this race. But still, just not quite enough bravery back through turn 1. Maybe a bit too much bravery on the loud pedal on the exit.
You've moved up to P14. P14.
Right, let's try and complete this move then this time round on the Canadian. We'll use a bit more of our battery as we head back down towards turn 1 then. Nice overspeed this time round. We'll have to be a bit braver on the brakes though, as we've got more and more cars into the pits. Stroll does try and keep the nose there, but we do get clean around the outside. And we're now up to 7th in this Grand Prix, so good to see, you know, a lot of the guys at the front of the field. Of course, with it only being one qualifying session, it really does hamper the top 10, you know, they can't do any medium strats in Q2, anything like that there, and we've now got a little bit of breathing room to Stroll behind as well. Don't think it's going to be long before Raikkonen dives in either. There we go, most of the other front runners into the pit lane here, so we might be up into podium places early on here in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. That would be rather nice to hold on to for a few laps, get some sponsors on the TV for Williams. Yuki Tsunoda, though, for the first time ever leads a Grand Prix. And Fernando Alonso, with all his years of experience, right behind him.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
So we've got a safety car then, at the end of lap 7.
Your delta is negative,
Not sure
which means
why.
you're too fast. Reduce your pace.
We've had no retirements in this Grand Prix. I don't know if there's been a collision somewhere and some debris has been dropped. There's a Red Bull and a McLaren miles behind, so that might be it. But we're going to have to pit now onto a set of the hard compound tyres here and see if we can try and take them really deep into this Grand Prix, ideally towards the end. But yeah, not too sure what that's all about. It's a bit of a gamble at this stage of the Grand Prix, but we have got a few more guys in. Russell has come in behind us. But yeah, not too sure how we feel about that. But is this going to work for us? I guess it'll be one of those races now. We've got to just wait and see where we're at later on. Hopefully haven't held up George too much.
After these tyres now, we want to finish the race on this.
Yeah, we got a warning there because for some reason the steering went the other way on the corner exit. But we come back out in P13. So we've certainly gained a little bit. But yeah, now we've got to really play the long game here and see if we can stretch these tyres. Mazepin's come out on softs, George on medium, so they're definitely pitting again in this Grand Prix. It's whether we have to pit sort of around lap 20, 21, and then go softs to the end, or whether we can drag these tyres if it's worth it. Getting ready to go green then once more here at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Let's see if we can try and get a good run on Kimi Raikkonen. But, you know, we're in it for the long game now. We're not planning on pitting again to the end of the Grand Prix, and I'm not sure there's anyone else on track that's got the same strategy as us. Can we try and nail the restart? There's a lot of concertina in up, but we have got a good run.
Let's get back up to racing speed.
Raikkonen aware of it though, goes for a huge dive bomb himself in towards turn 1. Their Sykes almost gets swamped by the pair of us there, but what is that from Kimi Raikkonen? That's a mega lunge up 2 places there on Sainz and Sebastian Vettel. We get caught up with Mazepin on the exit of turn 1, or turn 2 even I should say, but he's still coming back at us. Is the Haas driver there as we head down the hill in towards turn 3. Give him a bit of a squeeze. Oh, he nudges the wall again there. I thought I gave him enough room on the inside. I think we've got away with it though. Not a fan of these hards, I'm going to be honest, off the restart. They normally take a couple of laps to come into it anyway, but they just feel so understeery in comparison to the mediums I was on there. And you can already see the gap Sainz has been able to pull away off the restart lap. Yeah, really not what we want, but we've got 2 seconds over Mazepin behind, so I'm guessing he has got issues. I'm guessing that big crunch we heard behind was his front wing on the inside wall. Like I said, there was no contact with us when he did hit that second wall, so don't think there was a lot else we could have done in that situation, but Mazepin, yeah, he does dive in, so it's giving us a bit of breathing room behind, but I feel like those guys are probably going to swarm us. Oh, we've got one of the McLarens into the pits at the end of lap 11 there, as we're just losing a bit of time to the guys in front. That's Norris.
Now enabled DRS. DRS is now online.
Kimi Raikkonen is just falling backwards again, though. He's back down into, well, now effectively 10th place again. Oh, what's going on here? Why is there suddenly a load of cars right in front of me? Has there been some battling going on? I'm not too sure, but it's definitely now going to give us some DRS. I've got no idea whether there's been some carnage in front, and we're going to see someone at the front of this train pit in at the end of this lap, but it's certainly going to help us out there as we've got some DRS, but it's a train all the way up from 4th down to about P17. in this Grand Prix here. Baku is providing the carnage, and who is the culprit? It's one of the Alpha Tauri's. It is Yuki Tsunoda into the pit lane there, so I don't know if that was just a pit stop that was planned, or whether, yeah, there has been some contact somewhere. But Yuki into the pit lane, moves us up into 11th now, and this is perfect for us. With all these guys stuck glued together, we don't have to pit again, remember. As long as we keep it clean and tidy, we should be able to get to the end. Everyone else around us does need to pit. We could be up in a mega position later on in this race. Sainz now, I'm going to look at Kimi Räikkönen as we head on to lap 14.
But be aware your tyres need to go the distance.
He was just warning us about the tyres still, and look at that, Sainz has mugged Kimi off through turn 1 in similar fashion to how Kimi did it to Sainz earlier on. In this Grand Prix, we just need to try and hang on with the Alfa Romeo, and fingers crossed he can hang on to the cars in front still. Got to be careful of the battery though, we're down under half. I want to slowly try and build that back up. All Räikkönen really struggling through turn 3 there, almost contact between us, as I absolutely slid through that corner. Right, come on then, Kimi. Let's make sure we stick in the DRS of the Finn. He's not going to have any DRS off Sainz in front of him by the looks of it, which is really, really helpful for us. But you can just see, after all the carnage that's unfolded in this Grand Prix, the Mercedes still dominant out front 1 and 2 at this stage of the day. Then we got, I think, that Stroll in this Aston Martin into the pits, so we are now going to be up into the points. But how much more can we have? More and more cars peeling into the pit lane here. This race is really starting to unfold, and we should be getting a clearer idea of where we are. Up now into 6th place there. You can see we are ahead of one of the Mercs, and I think that was, oh, well, I'm not too sure which one it was, but they were the one definitely leading the Grand Prix. So we might actually lead here in Baku. Verstappen has pit as well. You can see how far behind us he is, but 10 laps to hold on is a tall order. There we go. I think we got all of the rest of the runners into the pits at the end of lap 16, so we should know. Alonso, of course, he spoils my party here in this Grand Prix. I think, actually, to be honest, Bottas is going to be out ahead of us anyway. Oh, don't run deep into turn 1. Don't want to do that. So, yeah, we're up now into net P2 of the Grand Prix, but we have still got Ocon right behind us, and Hamilton only a second back. But points are definitely on the cards today. Oh my god, Ocon and Hamilton have closed up so much on me, and we've been absolutely mugged down towards turn 1 there. Hamilton straight up into P3. I was just watching that thinking, are they going to get close enough? Thanks, Ocon. What was that? Esteban? I mean, have we got any damage from that? I think we got away with that.
Ocon, they are out of the race. Okay, watch your pace. We've been informed that the safety car is out. There appears to have been an issue with multiple stopped vehicles on the track.
I'm not sure whether that's helped us or screwed us in this Grand Prix, I'll be honest there, but Ocon just completely turned in on me through turn 2. We're going to be pitting again now, because there's no point not at this stage of the Grand Prix. But I'm trying to work out if we got damage.
Slow your pace immediately.
I think we have got a little bit of front wing damage from that as well, which is really frustrating. But that might just cost us some big points here. Yeah, let me know down below whose fault you thought that was, because I personally just felt, yeah, Ocon just turned in on me like he expected me just to have to back out in that situation. But we are going to have to peel into the pit lane. One person this has really worked out for well is Alonso, Ocon's teammate here. So maybe we got some Renault. That's definitely the front wing gone. That was not great into the pit lane. I don't know how we've got away with that without ripping a wheel off. Luckily, we had to change the wing anyway. But yeah, now that's going to mean we're going to be out way back behind the points once more. But we are going to be on some fresh, quick rubber to the end of the Grand Prix. Let's just wait and see. We're going to be down at the rear of the field. Ocon's completely screwed us. Thanks, Esteban. Love you, buddy.
Exit now.
Where are we going to re-emerge here?
Okay,
Why on earth does he keep doing that with the steering as well?
One stop left.
I'm not having that. I've said before, I'm happy to admit when I use a rewind, but that's a bit broken on F1 2021. Can we get out of the pit lane this time round? Right, let's wait and see. Right, full lock.
Only one stop
That's
to go.
ridiculous.
One stop left
That
in
needs
this
to be looked at.
strategy.
That definitely needs to be looked at on this game. But yeah, that's going to mean we're back out P17. We're going to be on the freshest, quickest rubber of anyone in the field, though. But just gutted. What is Ocon doing? Right, getting ready to go green then once more here from Baku, and we need to have an absolute blinding restart here. There might still be the slimmest chance of points on some much fresher, quicker rubber than the rest of the field, but I'm not optimistic. at this stage of the day. Getting ready to go green though once more. Just be careful of all the Constantina and up that inevitably happens in front of us. There you go. And now we can try and go about now. See if we can get a run on our teammate Russell. Try and nail the restart. Yes, we have. Look at that for a restart. So we head down towards turn 1. We'll go for a Kimi-style dive. And we will pull it off. Straight up into P14 then. Off the restart here in Baku. Next up is the man himself, Kimi Räikkönen. Vettel is the car between us and points this weekend. But, yeah, we just got to settle down into a rhythm. Don't overcook these tyres too early in the stint as well. That's what we did in the My Team race. Heading through the final corners of lap 22. 4 laps to go here from Baku. And there's obviously still no DRS yet in this Grand Prix. But we might still try and use a load of our battery to get close to Kimi. Back down towards turn 1 then. I'm a bit worried Tsunoda's already dropped out the DRS.
DRS is now enabled.
I think you should still be within the DRS of Sainz there, but I'm worried Sainz isn't in the DRS of Vettel. We need to try and get past Kimi though. Down towards turn 3. Oh, a little bit of wheel spin on the X there, and Tsunoda doesn't have the DRS on Carlos Sainz. That's really annoying for us at this stage of the day. Kimi's getting closer to Yuki. We'll slide up the inside of Kimi though. That's a very, very big dive bomb. But we have hooked it up. Right, let's see if we can get a run on Yuki Tsunoda. Of course, led earlier on in this Grand Prix, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to score points either. Here at Baku, we'll activate the DRS. That should help us get a lot closer to the young Japanese driver. Pretty much draining the entire battery there. That AlphaTauri, phenomenally quick down the straight still. Oh, that's not where we wanted to be. Oh, Tsunoda drives into me.
We've seen a problem at our end.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, what is Yuki doing, man? And why are the team reporting problems? Please don't say we're going to have another mechanical failure. We cannot afford another mechanical failure. It's all going a bit pear-shaped, though, towards the end of the... Oh, come on. Lost all the aero there.
The side pods have taken damage. Keep an eye on your engine temperature. Cooling may be adversely affected.
Oh, the engine's gone. The engine's gone. The NGU, the hybrid's gone. Oh.
Okay, looks like a mechanical failure. I'm going to have to ask you to find a safe spot to retire. Sorry about that. This is serious. We need you to retire as soon as possible.
Why? Everything. Oh, the final 10 laps of this Grand Prix have been an absolute disaster. What am I meant to do? F1 2021, I beg for a break. But, I mean, yeah, luckily, obviously, I say luckily, obviously we'd already ripped the front wing off, so we weren't going to get any points there at the end, but to still finish at the side of the road with the car going up in smoke is not a fun way to finish here in Baku.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Well, Lance Stroll would be my pick. He managed to keep a cool head today whilst pushing through the field.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Well, there we are then, guys. The end of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And it's true, F1 2021 definitely does hate me so far on this game there. But it is Bottas that takes home the race victory. Pole position, fastest lap. To be honest, the gap would have been about 10 seconds there had we not had the safety car later on in the Grand Prix there. Hamilton does come through for P2 though, so another perfect score for Mercedes there. Sergio Perez P3 jumped Stroll right towards the end there. I thought Stroll was going to get another Baku podium, but unfortunately, just miss out there ahead of Gasly and Charles Leclerc. Norris, Verstappen, Vettel and Alonso round out your points finishes there with Carlos Sainz in 11th. Raikkonen 12th, ahead of Danny Rick, Schumacher, Giovinazzi, George Russell, Nikita Mazepin, Tsunoda, and myself 3 laps down. Love that. At the end of the day, they're ahead of Esteban Ocon there. Really just another heartbreaking result for ourselves. That means championship-wise, Bottas still leads 16 points clear of his teammate Lewis Hamilton there. Lando Norris gets the jump on Gasly and Ricciardo, with Stroll getting the jump on Sainz and Vettel as well there. No other movers though. Schumacher gets the jump on his teammate Mazepin on countback as well, but still down in P20, sorry, at this stage of the year there. George Russell in P16. Constructors-wise, though, of course, Alfa Romeo, Williams and Haas still yet to score. Their Alpine with just 2 points on the board after the opening 4 races of the year isn't great for them as well. There are Mercedes, twice the points of Red Bull at this stage of the year. They've got a perfect start to the campaign. 176 points. What can we say about that there? Red Bull were nearly double the points of McLaren. They're double the points, actually, of Ferrari, who are just 2 behind there. Aston and AlphaTauri in 5th and 6th as well. But thank you all so much for watching this video nonetheless. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like. Get yourself subscribed as well. Baku, once again, has provided some carnage. But we'll be back very, very soon with round 5 of the year. We head to the Canadian Grand Prix. None of these videos could be possible without the support of our channel members, so a massive thank you to the Travesty, Patrick, Chuan and David Bennett for becoming channel members. You can join them and be featured in these end clips by clicking the join button down below.